experience. I also wanted to mention Paolo Comencini, who did the location scouting for the film. We didn't have a budget for that either, so they were all locations which I think were perfect. They get the message across about the situation and the characters, Anna with her house, this company with that walkway, like a tunnel. And we found them free of charge as well. The locations didn't cost us anything.
Thank you. There's a question in the back, please.
A question for the director and the lead actress. You both said that you learned about the phenomenon of mobbing pretty late on from books, if I've understood correctly. Have either of you experienced episodes of this kind of harassment? No. But I've heard people in my social circle talking about this. But personally, I haven't experienced it directly, except for mobbing myself, so to speak. I'm aware of my own flaws, very much so. And the reason why you make a film, there's always two reasons, in fact, or two aspects to it. You're opening up to others, but you're also dealing with what's inside of yourself. So when I heard people talking about this, it touched me, it affected me, probably because within myself, there's something of this, and I hope that's what comes across. Mobbing is the problem that I address, but it's also a metaphor in a way for something else, a sense of being inadequate. We all have that to an extent, at least I certainly do. When the rules imposed on us are perhaps not suited to us, but then we end up feeling that we're not up to scratch, that we're completely inadequate. But personally, thank God I haven't experienced mobbing like that directly. No, I'd heard people talking about mobbing, though I don't remember where. Maybe I read it in the newspaper. But when I started to tell people that I was making this film, I found out that everybody was familiar with mobbing. Everybody was talking about this idea, that it was something people were aware of. And then subsequently, I looked into books and found out some more about it. I haven't experienced mobbing directly, but I think that it's also a problem of excessive power being exercised. And I think that that is something which is rather fashionable these days, unfortunately. I wanted to ask if after this experience Francesca is going to go back to documentaries, the kind of thing she did with Carlo Giuliani, or is going to continue with feature films. Do you already have some projects that you could tell us about? I'd like to continue with this approach, which I've just started to look at. I like this mix between fiction and documentary. I think it's a very interesting way for myself, at least, to make films. You can see this in other countries as well, in cinema. There's probably a need in representing reality to return to reality. Perhaps it's become difficult to recreate reality otherwise. Television has done a great deal in terms of representing reality, and cinema needs to find its own specific nature once again, very clearly. Its specificity. I'm going to see whether this is possible in the future, and whether it might be possible to have a slightly larger budget as well in the future, because these are films that you put an enormous amount of work into, same for Carlo Giuliani as well. So I hope that I will be able to continue down this avenue. I don't yet have a clearly defined new project. I'm still involved in this film here, really. Microphone, please. Perhaps Nicoletta Braschi could tell us about some of her projects for the future as well. On Monday, I think I'll start looking at Roberto Benigni's new film. I'll start dealing with that and producing it, and then I've made an interesting proposal for a stage appearance, and I hope that I can manage to do both.
I'd like to ask Francesca Comencini, have you been influenced by other filmmakers who work in this style, like Ken Loach, or there are a number of different ones? Or is this something you got into yourself?
Sicuramente ho una grande ammirazione per Ken Loach.
I admire Ken Loach very much,
Spero di essere stata influenzata.
and I hope that I've been influenced by him.
Sì, è uno dei registi che io ammiro di più.
He's one of the directors I really admire the
Quello
most.
che mi piace nei suoi film,
What I like about his
ho
films,
cercato di fare mio,
and what I
in
tried
questo senso che
to adopt in a
di abbattere
sense
le barriere tra
is
le persone.
this way he has of breaking down the barriers between people,
Poter far identificare con delle persone che hanno delle storie molto
making it
diverse e
possible
lontane,
to
chiunque,
identify with people
perché,
who have
fa
stories very
eliminare le
far
barriere,
removed
credo che
from
l'arte sia
our own
questo,
experience.
far
I think that
sentire
art is all about removing
un'umanità
barriers
comune.
in this way and expressing the idea that we share a common humanity.
I'd also like to ask Camila, your daughter, it's you. I'd like to ask you how it was to work with your mother, and if you've played other roles in other films, and if you have any plans yourself to continue in making films.
Ho fatto un altro film con mia madre, però
I
era
made
un ruolo molto più piccolo.
another film with my mother, but I had a much smaller role
Mi piace
there.
molto comunque lavorare con mamma.
But I like working with my mum very much,
Penso, mi piacerebbe anzi fare altri film.
and I'd like to make other films afterwards as well.
Good. Yes, there's a question in the back.
Io volevo chiedere ai due co-sceneggiatori, Daniele
I
Ranieri e
wanted
Assunta Cestaro,
to
dunque emerge un
ask
film molto forte ovviamente
A
nei
question
conflitti con
for
le
the
aziende,
scriptwriters. We see
che
very
operano
clearly
praticamente
in
il
the film
mobbing.
how
Però una cosa che
companies
esce molto fuori dal
use
film,
mobbing.
e che piano piano assume
But there's something else which is interesting in the film.
è questa mancanza di solidarietà,
This
non
lack
di
of
ostilità
solidarity
dei colleghi e
between
delle persone che
colleagues.
subiscono
In
questo
fact,
fenomeno.
there's
Volevo
hostility
chiedere, che cosa fa il sindacato
from the other
per
colleagues. I wonder what
per
the trade union is doing
sensibilizzare, per,
to try to raise awareness of this issue
comportamenti che sono
and to try to stop people from behaving in this way. Perhaps it's even more violent
paradossalmente.
than what the company is doing as such. And I wanted to ask the director as well. During the preparatory phase, I wonder whether there was any stories in particular that really triggered your interest in making a feature film, a work of fiction rather than a documentary.
Laddove c'è il
Well,
mobbing non
where
c'è solidarietà.
there's mobbing, there's no solidarity.
Diciamo, agisce e si diffonde proprio perché
Mobbing
non
is
si trova
something
solidarietà
which functions
innanzitutto
because
dai
there's no
colleghi.
solidarity primarily
In questo
from
caso
one's
diventano
colleagues.
addirittura
And in this
mobbers,
case,
quindi
they become
coadiuvano e
mobbers
aiutano,
to
quello che già l'azienda ha interesse
They
a fare. E questa
help
purtroppo
to
la
put into
realtà,
practice what the
italiana
company is
non è
trying to do, and that's
sicuramente.
something which we see in
Si
reality,
sta
certainly in
abbassando
Italy.
enormemente il livello di solidarietà sui posti
The
di
level
lavoro.
of solidarity in the workplace is
Cosa fa il
dropping
sindacato? Il
dramatically.
sindacato, diciamo,
What do the trade
storicamente
unions
nasce
do?
come momento
Well,
solidaristico.
trade unions,
E quindi già la sua
in theory at
presenza e la
least,
sua presenza
are an expression of
consapevole,
solidarity.
conoscendo questi
So it's
fenomeni e
important
cercando
that
di
we're there, that we know what is going on, we're aware of these phenomena and try to act against them. So that means that we're acting, we're resisting these phenomena and other phenomena as well. I mean, mobbing is just